Thanks for joining us for Tuesday Night Smoke Sesh Round 5. Once again, I'm your host, David Yrigoyen. I'm going to pass this to my brother right here, Demetrius Yrigoyen. Give him a shout out. Super supportive. Helping me out with all this stuff. So, all right. So we've all heard of Delta 9 tetrahydrocannabinol, or THC for short, everyone calls it. Technically, it's Delta 9 tetrahydrocannabinol, what everyone is referring to as the compound that gives you the high or euphoria when you smoke cannabis. And that's because it goes through a conversion process that creates the psychoactivity. In its raw state, tetrahydrocannabinolic acid, THCa, the compound is not psychotropic, not psychoactive, so you don't get the same effects from THCa that you do from Delta 9 THC. It has very different effects, and you cannot smoke THCa because the smoking process or burning process, heating process, will convert it to Delta 9. So the only way you can really consume THCa is through ingestion or topical application. Get this going. Actually, we're trying some different types of herbs tonight. No shout out to any dispensary because we went to the homie, and this is all sun-grown outdoor herb, which I personally prefer. It's more smoother. It has a wider range of compounds than cannabis from the dispensary, so it feels more wholesome, I guess, and less uppity as the dispensary weed can feel. So anyway, getting back to it, Delta 9 tetrahydrocannabinol is the substance that actually gives us that euphoric high feeling. That's why when people are eating high amounts of edibles, smoking high dosage or high levels of THC, they get that high. I don't really like calling it a high because it's not really a high you're feeling, but that's when they start to notice those big changes with their body and their mind. There's a lot that it can affect people differently when you overconsume THC, Delta 9 THC. So it's really not good to categorize it all in one group or one feeling everyone's going to get, because it's all different. But sorry about that. Missed my ashtray. But yeah, Delta 9 tetrahydrocannabinol is going to affect everybody differently, but we do know that high amounts of it can have a real negative effect on us. It can actually, the body can withdraw it, and you can get really nauseous. You can get really anxious. You can feel really irritable, agitated. There's a lot of things that can go on with over-consuming Delta 9 THC. So that's why we tell people that are trying to get relief for inflammation, even for cancer relief. There's other ways to consume THC in the THC acidic form, tetrahydrocannabinolic acidic form. That right there can give you more relief without that adverse effect of the Delta 9 THC. So we've seen patients that come in with they're older, elderly, geriatric patients. They come in trying to get relief for their cancer, but they don't want to take high amounts of THC. Their family's afraid of it. I know it's going to get confusing because it's THC-A, Delta 9 THC, but they want to take high amounts of THC, which they think they need Delta 9 THCA or Delta 9 THC. We tell them they could take THCA. We show them how to grind up the herb, put it in capsules, or even cook it in a low heat way So they're able to emulsify the oils with the herb, the THCA, and not activate it. You could take it in raw ways, so you're able to get relief like that. So we've already had good success with people taking THCA, including myself. That's how I first found out about it, because there wasn't a lot of studies done back in about 2010 with THCA. I only know because I was eating high amounts of edibles at the time for my back pain, and I opened up Natural Healing Care Center shortly after that time, and I really couldn't withstand those high amounts of THC levels with functioning and running a business. So I had to find an alternative, and that's when I started playing around with THCA and making oils that were not heated. And I did not decarboxylize the cannabis. I actually left it in its raw form and started playing around with that. And that's when I was like, whoa, this actually is helping me more for my inflammation, and it's not giving me the adverse effect that the THC would give me. It's not leaving me, lazy, couch lock, distracted. It is actually giving me more medicinal properties that I needed at the time, and not so much of the euphoric relief that comes with the Delta-9 THC. So that sounds like, wow, this is interesting. And we started playing around with it more, started telling other patients about it, showing them how to do it. And essentially when you're juicing the leaves, you're getting other compounds as well. You're not getting the Delta-9 THC. They all start off as CBGA, believe it or not. So CBD and THC are derivatives of CBGA. So there's a lot of science behind this plant. I don't really want to get into a lot of it on the podcast. We'll bring people on that's their specialty. I do have some stuff to show you guys right here, though. You can just do a basic search of THCA for relief. There will be multiple reports and blogs that come up. Some will be from directories. Some will be for people selling products. If they don't have the actual research on there, you can you can track it down through clicking links on there where they got their referrals from. There's always ways to track down the actual source, so you can actually see the studies that have been done with THCA and how it is anti-inflammatory. That was the big one right there for me, because I needed relief from my sciatica pain, especially early on. I was sitting down a lot still while working. So I needed relief from my sciatica pain while not being overstimulated. Pretty much done talking about THCA. There's not much more other than the science to break it down to talk about. The way to consume it has to be in the raw form. It has to be. I know they're making isolates that are and extracts that are saying they're THCA. It's really hard to do if they're doing any heat conversion, and we don't still know the chemical processes behind it, especially if they're isolating it. But if you just take the plant in its raw material, grind it down, and put it in some oil, or let it saturate in some oil, or if you just put that herb in capsules, pour it on a salad, all of it is beneficial. So that's all going to give you THCA right there. You don't have to, there's no magic to eating THCA or finding it or converting it. It is the raw form of the plant. So all you have to do is get the herb and put it into something or eat it. So really, really easy. Really, really easy. Yeah, man, today's been a hectic day with this technology stuff. If you knew everything I was going through right before it started, I'm just grateful to hear that the audio went out. It's just, I'll get it all figured out. Need another week with this OBS stuff. And shout out to Open Broadcasting Studio for giving free software to people. It's pretty cool. So we talked about Delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol a little bit, the one that gives people the high, and how it needs to be heated the THCA needs to be heated in order for that to be converted or activated. Well, that heating process we get through cooking, through smoking, and through vaporizing. So if people do want to inhale the cannabis plant, and that's what I wanted to talk about today mainly was inhalation. If people do want to inhale the cannabis plant, there's multiple ways to do it. I know I've been showing you the way I inhale during the show, using tobacco rolls. So it's, pretty much smoking it. You can use a pipe, which is combustion as well, that's smoking it. There's also the water bong apparatuses. There's extracts that you can use different apparatuses for. And there's also vaporizers. And when I say vaporizer, I'm not talking about the e-cigarettes or the waxy, oily stuff. I'm talking about the actual herbal material getting vaporized. And it's really easy to do. I'm going to show you one right here. This is PAX, and I actually have their website pulled up. So at PAX, you can go to their website, pax.com, and they have the vaporizer options, and we're going to go to the dry herb, and I'll show you really quick. And those vaporizers right there are going to give you all the best use out of your plant. You're not going to be burning your material, so it's not going to be turning into ash. You're actually going to be heating it up, kind of baking it. So not only do you get the full use out of your cannabis plant, and you get the conversion of the THCA to Delta-9 THC, you also are left with a material afterwards that you can cook with, make beauty or body products with, salves, tinctures. You can make tinctures with it. The material's still useful, so it's not burning into ash. You're actually able to take that material and convert it into other products, even edibles that you can eat, and they'll be really relaxing, help with pain relief. All you pretty much did was vaporize the THC out of it, some of the CBD too, whatever's burning at those heats. Some need higher heats to combust at, or to open up at the cannabinoids, but the THC and the CBD, you're not using it all, so you still have some leftover use with it. And we see a lot of people do that. It lets you save money on the plant, get double use out of it, and it's very effective as well. So it's not, it's also therapeutic. I haven't been smoking a lot, so I don't even think I'm gonna get through this whole blunt today. But yeah, they're really easy to use. This is the packs right here. See if we can get a good image of that. Might be a little blurry. And it has a top part and the bottom part. Really easy. The bottom part is where your herb goes in. You grind it up, pack it in there, right there. Put the bottom back on. Click the button on top. Turns it on. You see your little lights blinking. And then when it's ready, it'll turn green. I don't have any herb in there right now, so I'm going to turn it off so I don't waste the battery. But that easy to use. It'll vibrate when it's ready. It'll have a green light. All you do is just drag on the mouthpiece. Really, really easy to use. Turn it off. Put it back in your pocket and use it as needed. Take that stuff out after. Store it in a jar or a bag. When you have enough of it, cook it into some oil or butter. Make some brownies or cookies, whatever you like. And right there, it's really, really easy to conserve your herb and use it with the vaporizer. And that's just one model. And I showed you the price, $250. It could be a little much for people, but it is an investment. Really good investment too. It lasts a while. Really easy to keep clean. A lot of people that buy them, they have them for many, many years. And the best thing about vaporizers is you're not really getting any carcinogen intake because you're heating up the plant to the point to where only the cannabinoids are combusting. So you're not getting all that other nasty material combusting in the plant. There's other compounds in there, and we all know that there's heavy metals that can be in some of these strains. There's the cannabis plant itself is phyto and bioremediative, so it'll take toxins from air, soil, water, pretty much anything around it, and it will convert it into healthy material. So that's why they use hemp at a lot of spill zones for radiation and toxic sites, because they can clean up the environment over there. Well, that material, that plant, taking on all that material, won't show any signs of contamination. So there could be people out there growing unethically, and they could be using chemicals or additives. Their water could be bad. Who knows what's going on? Their soil could be bad, and that stuff could be out there. So fortunately, if you do have stuff like that, a vaporizer would minimize the intake from that stuff. I was reading something before this about, people smoking ammonia in some of the plants. So, go to a dispensary right now. Dispensaries are testing their material, especially in Arizona. They have to test them. It's mandatory for them to test them. In whatever state you're in or city, I'm sure you can find a reputable source for your material. The only time that they were finding studies of ammonia being smoked, or high amounts of ammonia, was from, and this was, quote, street stuff. So anything coming from the street that they were testing had some of those contaminants. And I can say that I've had stuff in the past, before the cannabis program in the early 2000s. That stuff was really questionable. It was really bright, didn't look like chlorophyll, it looked really chemically, tasted really weird. So I know from my past experience, I've smoked some questionable stuff. Luckily, we don't have to worry about that in Arizona. You can go to a dispensary, and they pay a lot of money to have this stuff tested, so you might as well take advantage of that. You don't have to worry if it's been sprayed with anything and it grown unethically. You can see the websites of these people growing it. So there's a lot of valuable or reliable resources out there now. So we don't have to be dependent on that. But when you vaporize the plant, not only are you eliminating the risk of lung disease from reducing the risk of lung disease from carcinogen intake, it's actually having a better effect on our bronchioles. I'm going to show you right here. It might cut out, so I'm going to stop talking for a second. But in these little posts, you'll see not only how cannabis has been used, dated back to 5,000 years ago, but how it was used as an asthma treatment in the 1800s. Now, I don't know if that was due to them smoking it. I don't know if that was them sitting in rooms where they did kind of like steam rooms and sweat lodges, smoke lodges, where they just filled the rooms up with heat and the smoke to open up the capillaries. I don't know what they did for that treatment, but I've heard this multiple times and read this, that cannabis, THC in particular, does help with asthma. During COVID, they told people that cannabis helped with respiratory issues. It was already being spread across the news. Everyone was talking about it. So there are reports and studies and anecdotal research to prove that it does have some treatment with respiratory issues. And like I said, you can do a brief search and find all that information. Really, really easy to find. Really, really easy to find all that online. I've read that the reason why cannabis does not cause lung disease, even though there is carcinogens in cannabis itself, like I told you, with the heavy metals that can be in some of it, the additives, and because it's phyto and bioremediative, the toxins it can have. Because of that, you would think that it would be just as dangerous as tobacco, but nicotine actually helps the carcinogens cause lung disease, where THC prevents the carcinogens from causing lung disease. So even though there is proof of carcinogens in the raw plant material itself, because of the THC, there's really no harm with it. So yeah, you're still intaking, but you minimize the risk with cannabis smoking than you do with tobacco smoking, because the nicotine definitely will inhibit the problem. So, and that's all. You can find that all online. That's factual information right there. That's studies that have been done, and then you can find a lot of reports that will show you how THC will prevent the carcinogen from causing lung disease. So I pretty much talked about everything we were going to touch on today. We'll get a little bit more organized with this. Like I said, it's only our 5th episode. Right before this episode, I had no idea if we were even going to be able to go live. I was even thinking about streaming on multiple platforms, and I'm glad I decided to just go with Facebook again, because there was no way we would have it on time. This stuff, just when you think the technology is working with you, oh no, man, let's just be careful with all this AI and how far we're going with robotics, because I just know from my phone, the computer, and this basic plug-in USB software, there's always a problem. There's always something going on, and you can't be fully reliable on all that. So just keep that in mind for all those people that are gung-ho on technology, everything. Next week, we're going to talk a little bit about ingesting cannabis. Soon we'll get to having I'll have some actual videos of how to. So we'll show you how to use a vaporizer, how to roll a joint, how to use a pipe, how to make edibles. We'll have a little series put together for you guys. But like I said, I'm getting this all just put together. Right now, we'll show some behind the scene things later, but we're really just a camera and a few lights and the laptop that I am very grateful is still going, because this little thing is a workhorse. So I'll catch you guys next week. I love you all. It was great vibing out again this Tuesday. Hopefully you caught us live. If not, we'll be on YouTube, rumble.com, Tuesday Night Smoke Sesh on Rumble. YouTube, we're at MMJ_David, and also at Tuesday Night Smoke Sesh on YouTube. Facebook, you can find us at David Yrigoyen, and on Instagram, MMJ_David, along with TikTok and Twitter. So yeah, man, playing the game right now. Get you guys this information. I'll get this shit all together here really soon, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye. At Your Healing Care Center, we're here to guide you on your path to wellness.
We'll help you find natural relief through practices like meditation, yoga, medical cannabis certifications, CBD products, and more. Our premium custom rubs and tinctures are crafted from all natural, organic, full-spectrum ingredients. Check our website for more information on our products, services, and our fun in-person events.